Section 2.6 is on the coordinate system, and it's really review from what we've already done before. We've already reviewed the concept that you have an x-axis and you have a y-axis, and each of these lines are associated with a number, like on a number line. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, and so forth. In this direction, this would be -1, -2, -3, -4. Going up is positive, so your first line is 1, then 2, then 3. Going down is negative, so this first line is -1, -2, -3. You should be able to put any point on a coordinate plane. So if I want to graph -4, -1, remember this is my x and this is my y. So I go over 1, 2, 3, 4 to -4, and then because it's a -1, I go down -1. So that's the point -4, -1. The other thing that you're going to determine is which quadrant the point is in. The quadrants are labeled always 1, 2, 3, and 4. So you're going to go counterclockwise. So basically this is in this point that you already graphed is in quadrant 3. Now if the point is on the x-axis or the y-axis, it is not in a quadrant. So you would just write none if you were trying to ask what quadrant it was in. So we're going to graph these points and decide which quadrant it's in. S is at -1, -5. So that's this point right here. So that is S. Understand that's in quadrant 3. Then I have -2. I go over -2 on the x-axis and up 3. 1, 2, 3. That is going to be U. That is in the second quadrant. And then I have the point 0, 3, which is going to be this point right here, which is T. Notice how it is on the y-axis. So when it asks for the quadrant, the answer is none. Not only are you graphing points, but you're also graphing equations or shapes. Up to this point, we've just graphed random points, but let's say they give me this equation, x plus y equals 5. I need to pick some values for x and then figure out what the y values would be to make it true. So let's say I want to pick -1, 0, 1, and 2. If I plug those values in for x into this equation, I have -1 plus y equals 5. So my -1 is my x. I would have to add 6 to that -1 to make it equal 5. So I've got this point, -1, 6. If I plug in 0 for the x, then to make that equation true, my y would have to be 5, because 0 plus 5 equals 5. If I plug in 1 for my x, then the value for y that would make this true would be 4. If I plug in 2 for my x, then the value for y that would make that true would be 3. So this is where I get my x from. I just picked those, and then I look to see what the y would have to be to make that equation true. And that gives me these ordered pairs. So I have -1, 6, I have 0, 5, I have 1, 4, and I have 2, 3. Now you'll notice that forms a straight line. So go ahead and put a line through it and put arrows on both sides. Alright, let's try another one. Different equation, but I'm doing the exact same thing, and I can actually pick those same points if I want. -1, 0, 1, and 2. If I plug in -1 for the x, then I have to figure out what the y would have to be to get a value of 4. And I would have to have a, let's see, I'd have to have a -5 for the y, because -1 minus a -5 is going to give me a +4. If I plugged in 0, I would have 0 minus y equals 4. I would need a value there of, let's see, negative 4. Because I would have, oops, I didn't need the parentheses there, but I would have 0 minus a negative 4, which is going to give me an answer of 4. If I plug a 1 in there, I'm going to need, let's see, 1 minus a negative, oh, that one's, hold on one second. So I have a negative 1 minus a negative 5. Okay, that's going to give me the 4. And so I would need a 1 minus a negative 3 to get the 4. And then this one, I would have a 2 minus, so I'm looking to see what values that would be, and that would be a negative 2. So this is the values that I picked, and these are the values that if I put it in the equation would make the equation true. So I have a negative 1, negative 5. I have a 0, negative 4. I have a 1, negative 3. And I have a 2, negative 2. Now if you've done this correctly, they should all be on a straight line so that you can put a line through them. All right, your homework on this is page 88, 14 through 42 even.